So we have a list of data available now. Now I want to kind of prettify it, right? So next step, bootstrap. Here we go. So I'm going to try and go to bootstrap and find the list group. I want to show something like this instead of the very annoying single line guy we have right here. I want it to be shown something like this. And again, I'm not a huge guy in this area for making great UI, but at least I know this looks better than what I have. So let's try and use it. What I need is kind of an unordered list, the UL tag. That's an unordered list. And then inside that, for each of my items, I'm going to need a list item. So let's try and see if we can figure this out. I'm going to just grab this class right here. No, I can remember it. I'm good at remembering stuff. So first of all, it seemed that I need an unordered list in the very root right here. An unordered list, and that was going to have the class of list group, right? That was the name of the class that I needed in the root. And then inside that guide, I needed all of my different addresses inside another type of tag called the list item. So li, that was another tag, and that's also going to have a class called let's just make it here, class, there we go, and that was going to be called the list group item, like this. Hopefully that's enough. And notice I just changed this a little bit now. I added a few tags just to make it look like this instead of what we had. Let's try and see what we got. There we go. Now it starts to look like a list of addresses, right? Now you might not like this view. That's up to you. You can go and change it because these guys look a lot like these guys up here. So maybe this is not the perfect way of making it, because you cannot click these guys, but you can actually click these guys. So it might be confusing. Maybe you want to do another list view. That's up to you. I'm just going to keep it this way because I want to also add some buttons here. I want to also add an add button somewhere. So we'll have to try and figure that out somehow. But now we have the list group available, and let's just for the fun of it try and see if we can figure out how to add a couple of buttons inside this guy with the add and the delete button, right? The edit and the delete button in here. So inside the list item, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another div right here, and that div is going to actually be pulled right. So I'll make a class here for pulling this right, pull right, and in there I'm going to have my two buttons. So I'm going to have a button here, and let's just make it simple for now. Just write add, and then I'm going to make it into something looking like a button right here. Class, let's make it a btn, that's bootstrap button, right? And let's make it button outline. It's going to be the delete button instead of add. Delete, like this. So we're going to have another button right below it, and that's going to be a button for actually editing. So that's going to be the warning button, and that's going to be called edit right here for now. We're going to add icons later. We could do that. Go and watch the icon videos. And now for each of my elements here, we now actually have a delete and edit button. Sweet, we're getting somewhere. Now the last thing I want is kind of to have some kind of plus sign somewhere for actually adding this guy. Let's try and add that as well. That's going to be outside of the unordered list right here. It's still going to be pulled right, so let's do the same thing. Make another div here. I'm going to call the class pull right, like this. Now, I know this is not going to be perfect, but what did you expect? We've spent so little time. Button, and I want the button outline right here to be success. I think that's the green button. And let's just say add right here for now, and let's actually also uppercase these guys, delete, edit, add. So now let's have a look at our code again, and here's that button now. So we're starting to make something that looks like the address view, something like what we had in here, right? Sweet. Now we should probably map this so that you can see the addresses as its own little area. So let's just try and do that in the next lesson and just make a bit more with icons and stuff like that. Have fun.